Fostering ethical and engaging student research with NotebookLM. So first, I'm going to start with what the field is saying about the ethics of AI in a writing classroom. So this is from John Gallagher in the ethics of writing for algorithmic audiences. And they say, while ethical commentary about the use of algorithms has been offered by cultural critics, Eubanks 2018, Noble 2018, O'Neill 2016, Pascal 2015, we need also to consider the inner workings of algorithms. So I believe this is telling us that instead of just looking at the user interface, we really need to understand what's going on, what they call like in the inner box, in the inner workings, I'm sorry, of AI. The late Bill Hart Davidson in Ask the Expert, How Can AI Support Writing and Student Learning? Says we've been asked to accept AI technologies without a lot of disclosure about the text on which they've been trained. We were never part of a process. So this is another point we're making in the field, that these technologies have been created without a lot of different perspectives in mind. So of course, the text on which they've been trained is the text on the, mostly the World Wide Web. So they are not getting permissions. They're not including certain experts like the field of technical and professional communication has a lot of experts and user experience and things of that nature. So we've been left out of that process. But Bill Hart Davidson also said that I would encourage people to experiment with using AI whenever they feel they're in a learning situation for a new type of writing. So this tells me that as writing instructors, we don't need to ignore AI or tell students that they can't use AI if there's a reason, if there's a learning situation, if there's an experience for which AI would be useful in their writing or their learning. And so I will talk about some of the things that the field is talking about towards student use of AI. So the MLAC's Joint Task Force on Writing in AI says that we should be encouraging them, meaning students, to engage thoughtfully and ethically with generative AI, GAI, enhancing their ability to assess AI-generated content for accuracy, relevance, and bias. So this tells me that we should be using our critical thinking skills to develop pedagogical approaches towards teaching AI to our writing students. They also, this is from a list of resources for students regarding AI. There's a student guide to AI literacy, and I'll put my slides in the chat. Forgive me that I didn't, because that is a hyperlink, the student guide to AI literacy, to which you can explore. It was published by the MLA of America and ANC together. So I can't see the chat though. Is there a way to see the chat without getting out of my share screen?
That is a great question.
Sure.
I might have to get out of the share screen. Okay, I see the chat.
If you want to email me a link, I can pop it in the chat too.
Or I could go to Google and share the link to my folder, and the folder has the slide, which is this PowerPoint presentation. And it also has some rubrics that I'll refer to as we go. So let me paste that in the chat. I will get back to my presentation now.
Cool.
Okay, so teacher use of AI. Teachers are encouraged to not only understand GAI's functionality, but also to approach it critically, assessing how it may impact students' creativity, access, and linguistic justice. So, of course, we need to be having these things in mind as we plan to engage students with AI in our classroom and in our departments and programs. At the program and department level, the document advises integrating critical GAI literacy into curricula, as opposed to allowing students to encounter the technology piecemeal and supporting learning continuity across courses. So this tells me that it's not just individual instructors who should be engaged in learning AI and then learning pedagogical approaches to teaching AI. It should also be department heads, chairs, WPAs, anyone designing or, you know, administrating, right? In writing programs or TPC programs. So, of course, I'm going to introduce an AI since I've been talking about it. This is NotebookLM. And you can get to this through notebooklm.google.com. If you want to take a look at it, I think that it will be useful as I go through my presentation. You can see some of the features. So what is it? It's a web-based platform for creating self-contained notebooks where the AI becomes the expert and the user uploaded source material. So this speaks to ethics because, as I mentioned earlier, the AI models are being trained on just any source material, right? I don't know if it is picky, right? But in this situation, in this software, the user must generate and upload the material that the AI is training itself on. So this is how it works. There are self-contained notebooks. User uploads text files, PDFs, Google Docs, websites, and Google Slides. So it's a little limited. Those are the only type files allowed, and it relies solely on the uploaded sources. So it doesn't go outside of the references that you upload. So of course it has AI assistance. It's summarizing sources, it synthesizes sources, and it draws connections among the materials that you have curated and uploaded into your notebook. So some of the benefits to the student of this technology is that it's single source. So you gather popular scholarly trade sources. So students learn different types of sources. You can store them in one place. And I'll be talking about a scaffolded assignment that I have. Like you can build research towards research proposals or annotated bibliographies guided by AI as a support. And then, of course, there's multimodal support. So they have audio summaries. You can actually listen to a synthesis of different sources. And there are outlines and potential video references using YouTube integration, which I think is pretty cool. Benefits for instructors include that you could also curate instructional materials for your class. You can integrate text, videos, other digital resources, and it will create a cohesive lesson plan for you. You can also use it to give students podcast style overviews. Again, this is a feature of the software where it generates conversations about sources or an alternative instructional format, right? And it gives targeted summary. So it can do expert level research on particular topics. So it provides simple explanations for complex subjects. Again, this is ideal for technical communication, academic reading, and summarizing lengthy research papers. There's also adaptive writing style, so you can set it to produce user manuals, FAQs, or other writing prompts. And it's creative and informative. So there is a balance here in this software between creative expression and the accurate delivery of information. So again, these audio overviews that it gives are podcast style summary. So students and instructors can listen to a generated conversation based on only the uploaded content. So you get to customize this. You can specify the expertise level or the main focus of the audio discussion. And it does fact check because it is drawing exclusively from your sources. So it's ensuring relevant citations. So it avoids that hallucination that we know AI can do. So this is something that I show my students how to create a podcast. It's just the steps. So I won't go through that for time's sake. And if I do run into time, can you please unmute and let me know? So this is just the instructional like walkthrough that I show my students. Just how to I instruct them on how to use it. So and we do have a discussion as we go through the steps about AI. We have a discussion about ethics, why this is different or how it is, in some ways the same with the ethics of using this. So we do have conversations about the AI. Okay, so about some of the assignments that I sequence, uh, I have uh, courses that I've used this in. Composition 2, writing in the disciplines, academic writing, and I've also used it in a technical writing course. 1 second, I'm trying to get my notes. Okay, so some of the assignments, and this is the sequence that they go in. The research proposal, which I have in the folder that I shared, the rubric for a research proposal. And basically what it shows is that, oh, I'm sorry. Basically what it shows is the skill, the outcomes that we think, yeah, that we want students to learn from a research proposal. For example, curating relevant and scholarly peer-reviewed source, right? That's just an example of a outcome for a research proposal. Well, with this software, they would have to do that skill, right? They would have to learn um, what sources are relevant to their topic. If the instructor has specific guidelines, such as peer-reviewed articles, they would have to go and find those first. So they still are practicing their research skills. The second assignment is in the sequence of the annotated bibliography. So this is once they've already selected all the sources, then they annotate them. So they evaluate them, they assess them for their usefulness, and of course they summarize them. So the summary part is where the AI can assist the student, but the assessment part where they have to explain how it's relevant, how each source is relevant to what they want to do, that is some critical thinking work that they would have to do themselves. Then the next assignment is the research paper or the formal report. So the formal report is something that I will use in a technical writing class, whereas the research paper is something I will use in an academic writing class. So, but it would be the next assignment and just think with um, something very like formal, adhering to a genre. That's one skill that the students will have to learn. The AI can assist with, but actually creating the formal report outside of the AI, such as in a Word document, or they would have to learn formatting themselves, right? Or I don't know of an AI yet that can take text that they created and make like a real formatted research paper, such as an APA or uh, something like that. I'm sure it's probably out there, but I haven't used. Then the next assignment is the multimodal presentation. So students must do and this is in my assignment, students must either do a TEDx style talk or they will do a podcast. And so students in this case get to practice, of course, their presentation skills. Um, but all the rubrics for these assignments are uh, in the drive that I share with you. And the reason I share that is so you can see the output, right? What is this assignment meant to do for the student? And no matter whether I'm using the AI in the assignment or allowing the students to use the AI in the assignment, those outcomes are what's most important that we want the students to achieve, right? And with the way that I present the assignment to the student, they still have to use their own writing, research, analytical skills. Richer potential for the incorporating the Notebook LM into your classrooms is if we can expand the application of this software. So it's from researchers and companies, but it can expand to students accelerating their learning, right? I do have a cautionary note. Google warns users to verify facts independently. AI is not infallible, but again, with this software, remember you are uploading only the peer reviewed. In my case, I'm requiring students to have scholarly sources, right? So they still have to curate a list of on their own of scholarly sources, or still have to do that research. Again, I feel like we're pioneering the next generation. So obviously, I'm not a gloom and doom person on AI. I feel like we are positioned as a field, TPC, at the front of large language model advancements. We are doing a lot of research in the area. I do think we need to connect more with engineers and just show the value of our field. As far as integrating AI into PPC courses, um, I think that the core strengths of the software is that it centralizes diverse sources. Uh, it fosters deeper understanding, for instance, through the summaries and the audio summaries, and it encourages active engagement. Again, the students have to use the software. The software will not do the work for them. Um, I think that empowers learners and educators. So we're offering versatile outputs, not just standard traditional assignments or like restrictions, limitations to what students can do and use to create their assignments. Um, so they could, do in that technical writing class, things like frequently asked questions. They could create those or briefings or study guides, right? Um, and I gave you the website for Notebook LM. I believe it's just notebooklm.google.com. So I say get started because it's an ideal tool for bridging creativity with practicality in research and composition. And that is the presentation that I have for you today. I would love to answer any questions on how I integrate Notebook LM in my courses.